Hey peeps, it's Jedd here from Disrupt Tutoring, and as always, it's such a pleasure to join you. Today, we're going to continue with our analytical geometry question, which we pulled from the DBE's 2018 paper, November 2018 paper. Right, so we've already dealt with 2.1 and 2.2. We're going to move on to 2.3, which is quite a nice question because there's a couple of skills here. So we need to determine the gradient of the line through T and the midpoint of PR. Right, so they're wanting us to determine the equation of this, well, not the equation, the gradient of this line. So we've got the midpoint of PR, which is here somewhere, and T. Right, so we've got some sort of line that looks like that, and we need to determine the gradient of that. So how do we usually determine a gradient? I'm going to change my pen color back. Well, a gradient we usually determine by saying y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that would mean we would need two coordinates. Okay, we already know what t is. We did that in a previous question. We knew that t was the midpoint of PQ, and we calculated t to be 7 over 2, 3 over 2. Right, so now we need to figure out what that point is. So that's the midpoint. So I'm going to say the midpoint of PR. And the way I do my midpoints, I open up a big bracket. I then say x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Okay, so which points are we using? We're using P and R. So I'm going to use P first. So my midpoint of PR. And here I'm going to say x1 is going to be, so P is going to be 1 and 0. And then for R, it's going to be plus 9 and minus 2. Good stuff. That's over 2. And therefore, my midpoint of PR is going to be, so 1 plus 9 is 10 over 2 is 5. And then minus 2 over 2 is going to give me minus 1. Now let's just double check if that makes sense. So 5 looks about right. Minus 1, it is a negative. So that looks more or less correct. Okay. So it's very important to do those little calculations and those little checks so that you don't make the silly mistakes. Right. So I'm going to clear out some room. And once I'm done with that, I'll be able to move into the question. Right. So I'm going to just lift that up to there. And now I can plug in the values for this gradient that I'm looking to solve for. Right, so the gradient is therefore going to be, I'm going to use t as my first point. So that is going to give me 3 over 2, big divide line, 7 over 2. And then I'm going to say minus 1 is going to be plus 1, and then minus 5. Brilliant. All right, then what I'm going to do at the top, so that's 1.5 plus 1 is going to be 2.5. So that's very interesting. So that's going to give me 5 over 2 over there. And then 7 over 2 minus 5 over 2, that's going to give me 7 over 2 minus 10 over 2. So 7 is going to give me 3. Okay, so that's going to give me negative 3 over 2. Those 2's can cancel out if I use my reciprocal method or my tip and times. So my answer here is going to be minus 5 over 3. Always give a quick check. Quick check. It is negatively sloping, and that therefore looks to be the right answer. Very, very cool. All right, so that gets you a couple of marks there. A well-deserved 3 marks. Hopefully it helped you out. There were some good skills, how to calculate a gradient, how to calculate a midpoint, also how to use the information they've given you in the question in order to generate the approach to solve the question. Nicely done. A very special thank you to our sponsor for making this video possible. Be sure to read all about them in the description below. Also, head over to our website for more of these epic tutorial videos. If you can't find the answer to your question, send it to us and we'll respond with a personalized video just for you. Until the next time, stay epic.